What is up, guys? Tony with Geekly Games, and to start off with the new set BT17, we do have the Dexdorugoramon right here. I may slip up on the names because Dori, Dorugamon, Dorgray, Dorugoramon, they all sound the same. So I do apologize ahead of time if I start slipping up ahead of time. But we have the black base right here, and I think black base is I think it's what the spot is. A lot of people are delving into the purple base. I mean, there's no wrong to it. However, you do lose on the piercing, which this deck wants to pierce through, deleting Digimon and doing checks at the same time. When purple base is just straight up like complete aggro. But I honestly think that the mid-range mechanics of this, setting up your opponent, so then when you're set up and ready to go, you just completely obliterate them, is what this deck wants to do. So if you're a fan of Dexdorugoramon and just this deck in general like I am, be sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications too, because we are going to be uploading quite a few deck profiles for BT17. And when the sim comes out for its live patch, we are definitely going to get some games in with this deck. Without further ado, let's go ahead and delve into the black base version. So obviously with this, we got the Doramon right here. Probably the best egg for it because we're going to be stuffing a lot of sources into our stacks. So our Tamers, Protoforms, you name it. We're going to be ahead and drawing cards. Drawing cards is like this deck's like main thing to do. We can go through our entire deck and probably on turn 6. And you're probably thinking like, oh, your worst matchup is probably Mirage. Yes, and true it is, but if we already do enough for our card draw before they even get to Mirage, we can just go ahead and get rid of Mirage, keep drawing cards. They're not going to gain memory for it. Plus, also with this Doraemon right here, the only way we can be deleted is by deletion effects, and all they can do is bounce, like Ancient Guru and Mirage. We don't care. So the Doraemon's right here, start off the rookie list. We gotta run this as 4 of. It is a top 3 searcher, so we can find some with X antibody, but it's only Digimon, so we can't hit our Tamers with this, unfortunately. If we do hit our Tamers, it's a sad day indeed. We're not playing Kodo because, yeah, it could be another searcher we probably could put in here, but the SOC Tamers, they just oversee Kodo, so it's a dead Tamer now, unfortunately, and rest in peace. But we are playing it for the inheritable because whenever we're stuffing sources in, just like with our eggs, we're going to get a free memory and drawing a card. It's fun to do, and it's a must for this deck. Now for this card here, we just briefly talk about it. Basically, start our main phase. We want this to be like the rookie we're pushing out with this and doing our damage with. We're going to go ahead and stuff a free Tamer in. Can't be deleted unless it's by deletion effects. Or it just can't leave the battlefield unless it's by DP reduction or options or just straight up hitting it with it. But with the new Dex cards, it doesn't matter because if we do get deleted, we just go into those and we're still alive. Plus 1000 inheritable is a must too. Same thing with our Darugamons for BT16. So if we have both these in the stack, we gain plus 2000, meaning all of our level 7s, or no, our level 6s, sorry, are at the 15k par. And if we do go to our level 7, because we do have a Death X, that's 17. We're going to be pretty big. And then lastly, for rookies, because we're only running 10, is this Doraemon right here. BT9 on play, just trash a card from your hand that's got X antibody and a trait to draw to. Now, we only have running 10 rookies because we do have options. We do have Tamers like Cool Boy that search, and then we have obviously an egg here that draws cards, so we do have a lot of card draw. Search power too is also pretty strong. We are playing some number of defense shrinks, so these kind of act like as a searcher for our rookies as well. Plus, this sets up for evolution reduction costs, what the deck really wants to do, because we do gain a fair amount of memory we can start out with. I think just starting out our turn for the memory tamer plus Dory here, and then our cool boys, we can be anywhere from like 6-7 memory just by tapping everything down. So just keep that in mind. Now we got the Darugamons here, the level 4s. Only running 8. Yeah, I think we're running 8 copies, not 10. This starts with the collision line, so if they have any rookies in the field, we can go ahead and just clear them. It has the ability for its on-play when Digivolve. We trash a card and hand or draw a card, which sets up our trash. If we do have a Tamer in the source, we have the Taunt ability. Taunting is very annoying, let me tell you that. Like, I love doing it, but I also I hate getting taunt. And Itmon is on my list of if it go fucking itself. Because I know if Valkyrie's coming, right? We don't have any ace cards in here, so like our opponent's like, okay, they don't have an ace, you know, it is what it is. But when we do get Cybergemon, we may tuck that in here as a level 5, but who knows? We're dreaming here. Also, plus 1,000 ability here, same as our rookie. Now going into the new Dexdorugoramon right here, has a trash ability that when it would be deleted, we can go ahead and Digivolve this, prevent its deletion. So if we do get hit with a negative 5k, if we don't have the plus 1,000 source, it would be 0. The game mechanic will be trying to delete it. We can go into this. Since it's a 6,000 DP Digimon, it will be 1, and we can prevent that deletion. When Digivolving, now this is going to be a little bit long here, but excuse me, there is some controversy here, and I'll clear it up for you guys if you are watching this part here. So the trash 1 card in your hand is a mandatory. It is a must-have. No matter what you do, you have to discard a card. Then it says, then draw a card. Now here's the kicker. The only way you can draw this card if you're actually evoing this for 3 on a Doramon. Now, if you're evoing from the trash or same evolution, you completely you get rid of the then draw effect, and then you do everything below it, which is if this has Darugamon or a Digivolve from trash, this Digimon deletes something with play cost 4 or less instead. So, just like with Balmon X, and everyone had a heart attack and tried to figure out, or a brain aneurysm, what you want to call it, to try to figure out how everything worked. If anything in the text of a card says instead, you have to do A. If you can't do B because it has evolution sources, then you have to do C, which is deleting someone play cost 4 or less. The level 5 is exactly the same thing, except it deletes 6 costs or less instead. So I'm not going to go over that card too as well, but for you people watching this and, you know, trying to figure it out, and you've been lied to, or you were right the first time and someone's telling you otherwise, this is the right way to go about it. And also we have Reboot here. The only card with Reboot. You could also run the Doramon, which we'll go over at the end of the video, like some of the honorable mentions, you want to call it, that some people, do at the end of videos. We'll do the same thing. We'll just pull up all the SOC trade Digimon because it'll show up there. You can run those as well as other ways to getting Reboot. But you really don't need Reboot in this deck, but it is nice to have on this guy. And we are running the old Dexdorugoramon here. For the when Digivolving, you may trash a card in your hand with Dex or Death X in its name, or X antibody in general to gain a memory. 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 at this point, you're going to be doing that effect every single time. And that doesn't need to be on top of the same evolution to get that effect. Now, if this does Evo on top of its same line, you also gain blocker and retaliation. Now, you don't have to necessarily give it to the same Digimon that you already have blocker on if you have the Tamer. You give it to somebody else. You can give it to a lonely Darumon out there. That's this guy right here. You give it to this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Just blocker and retaliations. And when they swing, they just lose to a rookie. No heritable effect, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So we do have the Dexdorugoramon right here. I can tell you right now, I don't think that Bandai is going to bring this back to 4. People are speculating and they want this to come back to 4. But with the ability also this guy has for just by placing a card in and gaining deletion prevention and DP prevention, on top of this card right here giving you ways it can't, the only way it can be deleted is, like, to get rid of, is by deletion. You're protected from bounce. You're protected now from Dexdorugoramon deletion and DP reduction. There's absolutely nothing your opponent can do other than by swinging into this or blocking with the same DP. But with the ability of all the new dexes, you can't get rid of the card. So this card coming back into 4 of is very, very slim. And if Bandai does it, then it opens up a whole revenue of Alphamon decks. Because Alphamon itself, as a level 6, it has a bunch of protection stuff itself. It can stop your opponent, basically a giant Congo effect. And then it just, Oryuken mode just comes back to existence. And yeah, you just win almost every single game. And then you become a control deck or an OTK deck all at the same time. So that's just from this ability. The plus security is really nice, and it's not because it got banned because it's plus security. It was never that intention. It was because of this intention right here. This whole text bar right here just makes your whole stack just invulnerable. And if you're already bitching about Magnamon right now, imagine this coming back to 4, and now you got something else to cry about. So we have the four of Dexdorugoramon right here from BT17. It has the collision effect here, which I also forgot to mention, but we all know what collision does, but I'll say it here anyway. With collision, if this Digimon attacks, all your opponent's Digimon gain blocker and have to block. Now it's only one Digimon. It's not like Magic the Gathering where you can take a bunch of Digimon, bunch of your creatures to block one thing and just outright beat it. And then you have piercing damage, of course, whatever. So only one has to block. However, me talking about on this Digimon in particular, because this is the one you actually want to swing with and actually trigger its collision. Because the alternate effect here says when an attack target is switched, so when you swing with this and they block, it counts as attack target switch. As long as this Digimon has an SOC trait Tamer in its sources, it can Digivolve into a Beast Dragon, Undead, or SOC trait Digimon card in your hand without the cost of all of our level 6s that have all powerful when Digivolving effects for free. It's kind of like the other Oriamon. It's level 5. It starts with I forget the name. I'm not gonna sit here and ponder about it, but basically it's the same level 5 for the Digipolice. Basically the same all turns effect here as that one as well, because it also requires to have a Tamer in it. But all turns effect here too is when this Digimon deletes another Digimon, it may play one Digimon that card with X antibody or SLC trait with a play cost of 5 or less from the trash, not the cost. So the card we mentioned before, you may be playing this a couple more times, just to delve through your deck a little bit more. But after that, you're probably going to be playing these level 4s right here, because it also has an on-play ability to trash one, draw one. But then, like, if you also have a bunch of these set up here, you can use this as fodder and just go right into this. And then we have the Dexdorugoramon, the new one right here, activates from the trash. We're not going to talk about that because it's basically the same thing. And the when Digivolving effect is basically the same thing. We just rambled about for the Dexdorugoramon. But its end of attack is interesting. So the end of attack says once per turn, you may choose one of your Digimon. Delete one of your chosen Digimon, and one of your opponent's Digimon was as high or as lower as the level of that Digimon. Now, you can proc your own deletions, because we do have this Dexdorugoramon right here, which we'll talk about when we get there. With this inheritable, you can proc with. But we have just lonely Digimon sitting out on the side, like, your level 4, or just no level 5. You can go ahead and just delete those. Now, granted, if you do delete a Dexdorugoramon, when you go ahead, you delete it, you can trigger your all turns in the trash effect, but since it's not deleted, I don't think you actually could delete somebody else. But this also could be like, with the Chaos Dramon X, you get to delete it and then delete somebody else, but then since you're trying to delete it, you can keep it alive. So I think that works the same way. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that, but do let me know in the comments below if I'm reading that ability wrong. Like, it has to be a hard delete to delete somebody else. Now we got the Dexdorugoramon. See, I knew I was gonna. I'm thinking too hard about the name, and I'm here slipping up. So, best level 6 of the Dexdorugoramon lineup here. We got Dexdorugoramon right here, which when Digivolving effect. If a Tamer is in the source here, you can delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon or Tamer. Depending on what their situation is, if they're trying to set up with their Tamers like Davis Kens, like I was trying to do last Friday, and we're just completely getting cucked by this card, you're going to go ahead and delete Tamers almost every single time. Now, they got no backline with Tamers, whatever. They got a juicy level, level 5, level 6 Digimon out there. It's got an ace on it, and they haven't suspended yet. Ho-ho! It's a party! Go ahead and just pop it, get rid of it, gain all that memory back, and you get to unsuspend with it, because all turns effect, when the Digimon is just deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. It just says another Digimon, so it could be their Digimon, it could be one of your other Digimon that swung the turn, you name it. And now we get to the Dex counterparts, which is this guy right here, sitting around about $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, depending what the market is right now. All turns, activates from the trash. When Digivolving, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon. It is a, I forgot the option card. It's 8 costs, whatever it is. Basically, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon is absolutely insane just with the Digivolving effect. But if it's got Dexdorugoramon in the sources or it's Digivolve from the trash, You also get to delete all their opponent's Digimon with the lowest level, and that's not an instead fact. So Digivolving out of that trash, you automatically Digivolve 3, and it could just been on a level 7 going straight into this. And yeah, just blowing up the field. And then we have the old one. We got this one right here. This one's just a when Digivolving. If this has Dorogoromon in its evolution line or has Digivolve from the trash, delete all your opponent's Digimon at the lowest level. Same thing, right? On deletion, here we go. You may play one purple or black level 3 Digimon card from the trash without the cost. If you have 5 or more cards with Dex or Death X in their names in the trash, you may play one Death Xmon from the trash without the cost. I guess what we got here, we got the Lonely Death X. We're not going to talk about this card. We all know what this card does. It's absolutely broken, and people keep crying about it, and it's not going to get restricted on one. It's never going to happen. So, what we can do is we have this inheritable in here on this old one. We can just delete ourselves to pop. Whoop, just clicked it too fast. We go ahead and just pop this level 6 to blow up their level 6, depending if it's an ace or not, and then we just play a free Death X. Because half the time when you have a stack, you already have three Dex cards in the source already. This has to be in the trash, and then we also have a Dex card here that counts for it, and basically all the other Dexes that it can also trigger off when. To play this guy out for free, to get on play when Digivolve everybody, and then blow up all level 4s or lower. Yep, we're still playing with this cheeky combo, but you actually don't need this to win games every single time. You honestly can cut this out if you want to, and just replace this one for a third copy of this. Completely up to you. Or you can also use the other purple tamer to also do the same thing, which we'll talk about when we get there. He's actually not an SOC. He's a it starts with an A. It's like electronics. It's the same tamer trait thing as hacker judge. So it's not an SOC that you can search up. It's naturally you have to draw into it. But for our tamers and options, and I'm not talking about Digimon anymore, we got the 4 of Kokski right here. It's our mem setter. Basically, we're going to be stuffing this or just playing it for 4, but more often than not, when we have the Doramon, we're going to be stuffing it as in the source, gaining piercing blocker, giving it protection, of course. At the end of all turns, we can obviously pop this out. Same thing with our AGs right here. This one, if it's on our opponent's turn, we can gain 1 memory. So with our memory tamer and this, we always go naturally to 4. We have Alliance blocker, so this one we can get a little aggressive with. Since we actually have no way to outright search this, we just have to just naturally draw it, play it, which we do draw a lot. So we are going to draw this at some point, or we can hit out of a security because we do have a fair number of tamers and options. It just comes out naturally that way, and we also get to spit this out. But we have our cool boys. These cards are coming back. Honestly, I think it's just good for this deck because since everything's X anybody, minus Death Xmon, and our Tamers and options, one option well, 3 options have X anybody in it that this card can hit. For your top 3 cards in your deck, it's a 2 cost to play. Look for add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its name, or in trait, I should say, sorry, and then 1 option card with X antibody in trait, and then put the rest of the deck bottom. If your Digimon has the same evolution it's gone into, you go ahead and tap this, gain a memory, and draw a card. If you got 3 of these on the field, that's 3 memory gain on a free evolution. Plus, if it's the old one, like the Dexdorugoramon right here, you'll just net 4. Defense training. This card can find every single card in the deck minus our purple AGs and our 1 solid purple option, and obviously our X antibody cards. This card can't hit. So, at a 50 card deck, this should not miss. At least, not both cards. If you hit 2 whites or 2 solid purples, that kind of sucks. But at least you get to keep on the field, so when you go to Evo, it's reduced cost 1. So if you're the top 2 cards in the deck, you can just add a black card. 90% of the deck is black. It's just not the cool boys, not this card, or Protoform. That's really it. Now, speaking of Protoform, we got 2 copies right here. We did have this at 3, but we did decide to take one out for the Dex Evolution. Up to you if you want to even run that card, but I like running it. But we're just going to run as a 1-of. Got Protoform right here. And also a lot of decks out there right now are just running this as a 4-of, just so you can keep constantly recovering and keep getting your sources, which you can do. But then you're just left with no option bombs. So while you have a Digimon, you can ignore its color requirements, because, we just X antibody, of course. Activate main. One of your Digimon without X antibodies evolution cards may Digivolve into a Digimon with X antibody trait in your hand for reduced cost of 1. If it did, place this at the bottom of the stack. This also can proc the egg and the Doraemon for its inheritables to gain 1, draw 1. All turns effect when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by one of your effects. From this Digimon's evolution cards, return 1 Digimon card to hand and place this X antibody on top of your security. So we do have 2 heal cards in the deck. Also, if you're going to be triggering your all turns trash cards like any of the Dexes, this is mandatory. Just because you're protecting the stack, you can ignore this. You cannot. You have to strip this out and recover it. Now, it's not going to stop you if you have another one in your hand. You go ahead and just do it again, go to the next lineup. But, this is always a must. So just let you all know that. Metal Impulse. I forgot this card existed until last Friday's locals when I was playing against Ryan, and this card slaps. It was very annoying to deal with, and I almost threw a tantrum every time he played this card. So it does cost 6. Ultimate Flare. That's the word I was looking for. Ultimate Flare, when I was sitting here struggling. Come on. Ultimate Flare, that's what this card does. So basically, we have another version of Ultimate Flare. Costs 6, not 8. You may trash up to 3 cards in your hand. That's a may. You can trash 1, 2, or all 3. For each card trashed, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So you can trash 3 to Digivolve 3, and you can hit it on 3 Digimon. Just 1, 1, 1. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Then, delete one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon. Now, it's not like a wide, destructive thing, whatever. If this card did that, easy played. But I think this is a sleeper card right here. And also sets up your trash if you haven't done so already. You just ditch 3 cards and you're ready to go. And it could be any card. You can trash Death X with this. You can get any of your Dex cards back later on. Just getting Death X in is probably one of the main reasons you want to do with this card. And also activates out of security, so it's a bomb. Same thing out of security, does the exact same thing. So we have 2 bombs in the security, and you don't have to run this card if you want to. You can run 4 of this and 4 of this, and just forget all this. But deck needs a little bit more, defense. Even though this deck is like mid to late game, but it's also good to if you're slow somehow, you have some kind of defense that could be in your security. And then lastly, I still like this card, and we are running 3 cards that, if they're in the trash, there's no way to Digivolve them out. So we at least have something to do with that. So while you have a Digimon with X antibody in trait on the play, you can use this on its color requirements. But we're always going to have some kind of purple because most of the deck is purple-black or black-purple. But if we just do have solid black on the field, no purple whatsoever, we can still just play this out anyway. So playing this card, there's no sweat. One of your Digimon with Digimon, you may Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card with Dex or Death X and name from the trash with its memory cost. So for some reason you just can't proc your own Dex effects like this one right here. You just can't get it deleted for some reason. You can go ahead and just Digivolve this straight to Death X for 6 from the trash. Same thing with this one right here, or any of them really. Any of the main lineups you want to go into Dexdorugoramon, Dexdorugoramon, or Dexdorugoramon, all that. Your opponent's just not gonna delete you for any reason. You can go ahead and just use this card. Be like, well, if you're not gonna do it, I guess I will. You can just go straight in the evolutions. If this is in the security, just add this to your hand. If this did this effect out of security, that'd be insane. But it does not. But this also can just be Calling the Darkness if you want it to be. If you do not like this card, because you can still proc like a deletion effect on this to get like Death X back, or just finding 2 other cards. But some honorable mentions. This actually has the Dex in it, so we'll actually talk about this guy. This was the Tamer I was talking about. If you don't want to run AG, you want to run this guy. I did run this in replace of AG, and it was cute. It did do its things. It says whenever you tuck a Tamer into sources, you can go ahead and suspend this guy and gain a memory. And at the end of your opponent's turn, as long as this card is still remaining suspended, one of your Digimon can Digivolve into a Dex or Death X from the trash without the cost, so there is that ability. You could run this if you want to, if you don't want to run the AGs. I'm still up in the fritz about it because so far I've always had this too in my deck and I haven't lost yet. But I may just revert to AG because it's just right to do, and that alliance is you can be aggressive. But this also too, if you're a fan of just putting stuff in the trash, you can have this guy as well. Another Dex card you can put in here is the X program. While you have a Digimon Dex or Death X in its name and play, you may use as well as color requirements. Delete one Digimon without X antibody trait on the field. If there are 3 or more Digimon in play, delete all Digimon without X antibody. You're gonna see a lot of go wide decks, and honestly, just playing this for 8 and just board wiping the entire place, you can. But if you're going against other X antibody decks, well, this card just does nothing. Security effect is just deleting one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody and trait, and this is not counting the option. It has to be an X antibody Digimon. If they have the X antibody in the source, they're not an X antibody Digimon. Oh well, it still gets deleted, so you can run this and be fine with that, but it is not the best. Now, for SOC trait cards, we have some mentions here. You can also run the Agumon as one of you can put in here. Pretty much, you're going to have this guy just chilling on the field because the All-Turns ability here, when one of your Kosuke is played, go ahead and gain a memory draw card. So, at the end of your turn, you can spit it out, play it, because when Tamers are doing it from being unmind-linked, they're being played, which will trigger the Agumon right here to gain your memory draw card. And also, at the end of your opponent's turn, you can go ahead and, like, if they're memory choking you, but it doesn't really matter because you have a memory tamer. But, like, at the end of your turn, if you want to continue turn, you put them to 1, you can go back to 0 with this. But it also draws you cards. Something else, you can run Cracker Feign as another memory setter if you want to. It's the same thing as the other AG with this ability down here, but it's just the fact that this, can set you to 3. You can run the Demon Wolf Castle of 9 Wolves here. Since we're a primary SOC trait, you can do a real top 3. But this is delving into the purple base, of course, here too, because you have to have purple on the field. And you also can play an SOC trait card, which could be any of your Tamers that gotten deleted, and for a reduced cost of 2. So all your Koskis are 2 costs, your AGs are 1. So you can run that as well. We do have the Doraemon right here. This one is when attacking, as long as Kosuke is in this source, you can go straight into a Dorugoramon for a cost of 4 ignorance evolution cards. But do keep in mind, there are some people taking in some floodgates that you cannot ignore Digi-evolution requirements, and this is one of them that could just prevent you from not warping. And this also has the reboot ability, so you can also run this as well. And I think that might be it. No, there's this card right here. So we do have the Megadramon too, as well as a level 5 option you can run into the deck. Has an on-play when Digimon field top 3 cards of your deck. You may place one machine, sideboard, or SOC trait card as his bottom evolution source, and then add one such card to hand, which, you can add a Digimon, and if you hit a Tamer, you can add a Digimon and a Tamer. So if you're already mind-linked, this is another way to get another mind-linked Tamer in your source. Then when attacking, if you have SOC trait Tamer in his evolution, you can delete one of their Digimon's play cost 3 or a few lower Digimon or Tamers. So it's another card that just deletes Tamers as a level 5. But you're playing for its inheritable for when attacking, de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So when you're going to collide with your level 6, you're automatically de-Digivolving them. So if they're already slightly bigger than you, you don't have Dexdorugoramon, you can always de-Digivolve it in no sweat. Another one you can run, and I think this might be it, is the Tyrannomon right here as a level 4 option. It has an on-play ability and blocker. If you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, you may add one Digimon card with SOC trait and one such Tamer to the hand. And then bottom deck the rest. If you've added a card, trash a card. Sets up your trash. You can go ahead and do that as well. Diving in, obviously, to the purple base. Your purple rookies are going to be the Lugermons, so you can get the AGs in. Same thing with our Doraemons. This is the easy way to get the AGs. And as long as you're playing Dark Animals or SOC trait cards, you also gain the memory as well. So when you're spitting your mind links out, you can go ahead and gain the memory here as well. I don't think it plays any of the level 4s, level 5s, obviously, because you still want to keep it this. But for purple base, the Lugamons are the way to go. So that's basically everything for the honorable mentions in the deck. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If any of the honorable mentions weren't on there of the card that I mentioned, go ahead and leave in the comments below. Um, love hearing your all's thoughts and opinions about any deck profile I put out there to make them even better that they are already now. So, again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.